lived in Maryland until I was about 5, and I was raised by wolves, and they were taking the South, and then I just, anything between the time that I was 5 and the time I worked for Funimation is unimportant. And then I got a job working at Funimation in 1997. I told a long-winded story about that in a previous panel, so I won't make you sit through it again. But it involves a page and me getting in touch with someone and them asking me if I wanted to audition for Dragon Ball. And I said, or they asked me if I would be interested in auditioning for this Japanese cartoon. I'm like, oh yeah, Japanese cartoon. I've seen Ghost in the Shell. I know what I'm doing. That was about it. I'd seen Ghost in the Shell and Akira, and that's it. Like, those were the only, well, we called it Jap animation back then, which was really classy. We didn't know better. But yeah, so I got the job working Funimation. I was cast as Igor and Yamcha in this little movie called Sleeping Princess and Devil's Castle. It was like a Dragon Ball movie. It was kind of cute, whatever. After that, they said, hey, Chris, do you want to come and direct and cast some voices for this show called Dragon Ball Z? I'm like, never heard of it. Sure. Would you like to, you know, could we pay you nothing to do it? I'm like, absolutely, sure. And so, yeah, I went on board full-time with Funimation, and we started this ridiculous process of trying to dub Dragon Ball Z into English before it would run on TV. So we were constantly chasing the TV schedule because it was running on Toonami, which I heard is really popular. As of April 1st, that was pretty awesome. I hope that all works out.
Me too.
So we were racing the TV to try and, racing time to get it on television. We ended up dubbing a ton of it in a short period of time, and we thought it was over, and then the video games happened, and then we thought it was over, and then they redid the orange boxes, and then we thought it was over, and they did like 8,000 more video games, and we thought it was over, and then they did Dragon Ball Z Kai, and then Z Kai, which sounds like German actually when you say it really fast, and then we did some more video games and stuff like that. So basically, when it all comes down to it, I was born, I was moved to Texas, I went to school, and then worked on Dragon Ball Z for the rest of my life.
Sounds like a good
so
life.
to say that Dragon Ball Z has not affected me is ridiculous, because I owe everything to that show. So if I speak about it too much, I apologize. I owe everything to that show. If I had not worked on that show, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't live in the house I live in. I wouldn't have a family. I don't know what I would do. I'd probably be working at Blockbuster. Blockbuster's closing around the world, so I would be looking for a job in the worst possible market ever. So thank you guys for watching Dragon Ball Z and allowing me to come here this weekend. Breath.
Thank you.
Okay,
come next year too.
I have done some other stuff besides Dragon Ball Z, believe it or not, but that's where my memory starts getting a little hazy, so you might have to help me. Right after Dragon Ball Z, there was a show called Yu Yu Hakusho, and I played this guy named Kubara. And basically, Kubara is just like dumb Vegeta. Vegeta's here, and formal, and Kubara is like here and stupid. So I guess Kubara is sort of if Vegeta went terribly, terribly wrong. If he didn't have a formal education, which he probably didn't. I don't think of it. His education was like, here's math, punch 3 people. Here's biology, kill these people.
If you knock 3 people down and to get up, huh?
Yeah, if you knock 3 people down and blast 4 people in the face until they die, how many people are left standing? Anyway, so Kubara was awesome. I was this, let's see, after that we worked on a show called Blue Gender, which was really fun. That was the first show that we ever got to do like a real anime dub on, because it was the first time we ever got all the Japanese elements. And I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but it was the first time we got the Japanese voice track and the music track and the sound effects track. So we got to listen specifically to the Japanese voice before we read our line, which is the first time we were ever able to do that. Prior to that, the technology, at least at Funimation, did not exist. Because we were still kind of recording everything into toasters and into pencil, and then we would grind it up and throw it anyway. So okay, I've done other things. I was in I was Ayami in a show called Fruits Basket. He's like, he was very much like all the rest of the other characters I played. Oh wait, no, I take that back. He was flamboyantly gay and ran a dress shop and was student council president and I don't think I've played another character like that ever since. It was that, and then it went back to dudes with swords and muscles and all that stuff. And if someone asked me today, they're like, "Man, if you could do one show again, what would it be?" And I was like, "Well, we already did that." But if I got to pick it, I actually wouldn't mind re-recording Fruits Basket again, because so many people have liked that show, and it was so long ago that I worked on it that I have very little memory of it. Like, I only have like a 5-year shelf life on my memories, and after that they start getting really hazy. Okay, I was Alex Louis Armstrong on the... He's got huge muscles and sparkles a lot. And there I played Giro in a show called Sergeant Frog, which I absolutely freaking love. I tell a lot of people Sergeant Frog is one of my favorite all-time shows, and I'm looking forward to actually playing it for my daughter. She's like 14 months old now, and she's fluent in 3 languages, and I'm looking forward. No, she's not. She's fluent in crapping herself, actually. Sucks. I don't know how many of you have kids. I would wait. Yeah, congratulations to you. And I have such respect for anyone who has a child. Although, in retrospect, from a guy who's like getting older, I wish I had kids like 20 years ago, because I would have had more energy to deal with it. All right, so I digress. You've caught me at the worst possible time. My brain is just only hanging there by a thread. Tsubasa. Oh, right. I was Kurogane in a show called Tsubasa Chronicles. I was Saiga in a show called Speedgrapher, and that's it.
Hitalia. Okay,
Hitalia. That's Zoro. And you can look on IMDb and look all this stuff up on your smartphone. But since, does anyone want to hear an impression of a certain character, just in case? Okay, Vegeta's an easy one, he's just angry all the time. I'm sorry? Hey, well, Ayami, I already talked about Ayami. He's just sexy and crazy and has sex with boys. And you guys love it so much. Oh yeah, Piccolo. His only job in Dragon Ball Z is to tell Gohan what to do. He gives Gohan stage directions. Go, Gohan, stay, Gohan. Go, stay, good boy. Nice, Gohan. Yamcha is like, he's just like the highest character I have, and he's just like a higher voice, and he's kind of like Surfer a little bit, and stupid. And he of all the characters, I actually like playing on Dragon Ball, because he's super easy, and there's nothing difficult about it at all. And his fight scenes don't last very long, because he always gets his butt kicked every time. And, yeah, he was always awesome. And then I was so sad, though, because, like, I mean, I don't know, I've never dealt with, you know, having a hand through my heart and then dying and then being brought back to life, but I would certainly not become as much of a puss as he was at the end of Dragon Ball. It just seemed like, I said this earlier, it seemed like at the end of Dragon Ball he was just waiting for Goku to die, so maybe that Chi-Chi might get with him out of some sort of sympathy. You know, Goku's gone on, I've just been kind of standing here. Was your house cat friendly? Alright, sorry. Any other? Purunga is basically like just Shenron. It's like my voice just pitched down super low and then said really slowly, because for whatever reason the dragons in Dragon Ball, they just said, screw it, we're not even going to animate to their flaps. They said, your wish has been granted. And we had no choice, because otherwise you just go, your wish has, and that's all we ended up with. And then it was pitched down, and then do you know how you can tell the difference between like how powerful a dragon is in Dragon Ball? Like, do you know how to tell how strong they are?
How big they are?
The size of their balls. It's true. And on Namek, Purunga, they were really huge, and they dropped at the end of the episode. What? And you get more wishes. You get more things accomplished. So am I forgetting other voices? Mr. Popo. For a long time I played Mr. Popo. There was a time where Chris Kaysen, who was here, and I pointed in the general direction he was standing about 30 minutes ago, he played Mr. Popo. And then he had to leave to go on a tour, some stage tour, and we were left hanging, and I was like, I'll give it a try. And so I did, and then I ended up being Mr. Popo for a while, actually for a long time. And then once Dragon Ball Z Kai came along, I gave Mr. Popo back to Chris Kaysen, who did it to start with. I felt it was only fair. And I love Chris's Mr. Popo. It's always been an impression of his anyway, so. Let's see.
There's Kami, he's really old. And he and Mr. Popo hang out and rub sacred ointment on each other. Go get the sacred ointment, Mr. Popo. No, the Blackwater Mist.
Gosh, I'm so going blank as to what even happened in that series.
Aw, garlic juice.
Let's see. All I know is like my friend John Bergmeyer, who plays Tien Shinhan, we have a competition every time we're working on a game or something. We love to joke about how dorky the two of them are,